Making the wrong hire, first of all, can cost you millions of dollars. You know that, being a recruiter, right? Similarly, having the wrong person in the wrong seat will cost you significant. It may cost you time, it may cost you money. Both of those things are synonymous with one another. It may cost you credibility.
Welcome to the Growth Xperts Podcast. I'm your host, Derek Colin. Today we have a great episode featuring Stephen. He is the Managing Director of CMA. How you doing today, Stephen?
I'm doing great, Derek. How you doing today?
Awesome. Thank you for asking. And welcome to the Growth Xperts Podcast.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah. Awesome, yeah. So can you share a bit about your background and how it fits into the bigger picture over at CMA Inc.?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be delighted to do that. Again, thank you for having me. So, my firm, which I'm a partner at, has been in business since 1984. I spearhead and lead our real estate division. We were founded in the mortgage business, and we are a housing-specific executive search firm, meaning we don't work in any other businesses that don't touch a real estate transaction in some way, shape, or form. So we got into mortgage, then we got into settlement services, then the vendors that support those industries. And that's what I walked into in 1998. What I found was that we weren't dealing on the front end with buyers and sellers in the business. So I and the founder of the firm took it upon ourselves to build out a real estate practice. And not being egotistical when I say this, Derek, is just factual. We are hands down the preeminent executive search firm, bar none, in the housing industry, having placed in excess of 13,000 executives. And so I lead many aspects of our business, and we've got a bunch of tremendous recruiters here, and I've got some fabulous colleagues as well.
Awesome. Yeah, it sounds like you guys are leading the way, very prestigious in your organization. So what does a typical day look like for you, Stephen, at work?
Well, Derek, you were a recruiter as well, so I think that all of us kind of have a similar function, right? We have to have the jobs. If we don't have the jobs, we've got to go get the jobs, and we've got to fill the jobs. But I think that going to get the job is a job in and of itself, right? Going out to procure that role, to get that high profile customer in, and then you've got to go fill it. So my day revolves around both of those activities: going out and getting new clients, and at the same time filling the roles that we're actively working on. And we work on a myriad of different things. So we're not just linear relative to a functionality in an organization. We're around sales, ops, finance, technology. So my day doesn't get boring. I get to talk about different aspects of commerce, different aspects of business. So that's a day in a life, if you will.
Yeah. So what's your relationship with your clients, from A to Z? Do you have any personal relationships that you build? How do you meet with them?
Thank you. I appreciate you asking me that question. Actually, I pride myself on personal relationships, Derek. That's in my DNA. Candidly, doing this screen to screen, this is not my strong suit. This is what I do. I'm a belly to belly person. I want to come see you. I want to shake your hand. I want to get to know you. I want to understand your wants, your wishes, your aspirations relative to your business. Who are you today? Who do you want to be tomorrow? I'm very much so a relationship driven executive recruiter. I know that most of us are. Some of us are transactional, and sure, it's a transaction as a ends to a means, or means to an ends, pardon me. But I don't really want to do a transaction. I'm much more interested in a long-term relationship. And I think that, candidly, with all due respect to other firms out there, those that focus on the transaction side, they get forgotten when things change, when the environment changes. If you're just chasing a transaction, it's just that. You're no more than a transaction. In order to be sticky, you've got to have a relationship with the person. You have to have some connectivity, right? You have to be able to connect with them on a personal level and a professional level. So relationships are everything to me, man. I'm in the relationship business. That's actually when people ask me what I do, and after I tell them what I do, not everybody knows what an executive recruiter is, a headhunter is, right? We've got a million different names for what people call us. I'm a relationship person. I think that's probably what sets us apart from some other firms out there. And I know there's a lot of great firms out there, and they too are relationship driven.
Yeah. So tell us about CMA. What does it stand for? What is it that you guys do specifically? And How are you building those relationships within CMA, and what are your targets?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that question as well. So CMA stands for Corporate Management Advisors. We are a housing specific executive search firm. What that means is we do not touch any businesses that don't touch a housing transaction in some way, shape, or form. If a business is involved in the housing industry, those are our customers. Again, as I was mentioning earlier, we don't focus on we focus on a specific segment of industry, right? $1 trillion plus industry. There's lots of opportunities in there. And as a result, because we are such specialists, we're not just focusing on ops or sales. We do anything and everything at an executive level. It's pretty much a director level and above, but they'll do anything and everything within an organization.
Awesome. So what major shifts are you currently seeing in your industry right now?
Well, there's some trying times out there, 2026. My industry, the housing industry, has been relatively challenged, if you will, since 2022. The advent, my industry is, and I mean this with all due respect, it's a laggard when it comes to technology. It's one of the last bastions of disruption. I'm not particularly fond of that term, but with the advent of artificial intelligence, it's here. My industry is now being disrupted just like every other industry. And it took artificial intelligence to disrupt our industry. And you might ask, how did it disrupt your business? It's changed really just the way that people look at the world and people look at their business, people look at activities. And so some of the changes that I'm seeing in my industry, aside from AI, I think AI is impacting every aspect of everybody's life and everybody's industry. I don't think there's a way around it, nor would I suggest you try to find a way around it. You'll be left behind, right? But some things that I'm noticing a change in the industry. I believe firmly that we are now at the bottom of our industry. Like I said, after 2022, we've been on a decline, right? There's been a lack of inventory. There's historically high interest rates, but look, I've been around when interest rates were double digit, right, a long time ago, but I also saw them get to near zero at 2%. There's a significant portion of our population that believes that's normal. It's not. Banks need to make money too. So 6+% is not such a bad thing. So, I think that people are getting more acclimated to the fact that there's higher interest rates. There's now more inventory out there. And I firmly believe at this point in my industry that we're bottom. We're bottom. Now the question begets is, how long do we stay at bottom? That's another question. I'm hopeful and optimistic that it will start to lift. I've seen some positive things in the market, but there's also some geopolitical constraints going on at the current moment that I'm hopeful and optimistic don't impair the potential for growth.
Yeah, definitely. So when it comes to that trend or those changes in the marketplace, and I guess you kind of already addressed that, because it's impacting your growth strategy since COVID. But what's working well for you right now, and what's really been frustrating?
Well, we've been very, very lucky, Derek, extremely lucky. Okay. We were founded in 1984. I've been doing this since 1998. So I'm nearing up myself on 30 years of being an executive recruiter. I've seen the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. And so, the reason I say we've been lucky is because the majority of our business is inbound, right? It comes to us because we are the preeminent executive search firm. We still go out to have to do it, but I actually personally like business development. I love to get out there front and center. I'm not a shy person, as you may have been able to tell from our previous conversations, Derek. So, I'm an outgoing person, and I get a charge out of meeting new people who I don't know. So I really enjoy being out front and center. But the frustration is I'm just one. I have to be in the center of transaction. My partners have to be at the center of transaction. Our senior people in the firm who are going out and procuring job orders, they've got to go out, and it's coming in one of two ways. It's coming through this, or it's coming through this. All right. And so again, I'm in the center of the transaction. I think that it would be fantastic to have, a more robust incoming of activity, because at any given day, Derek, historically, we have 150 active job orders, right? It's not an insignificant amount of job orders, but we also ebb and flow. with the markets. And so right now we're trending a little bit lower because my industry is challenged. Many of my clients, it's challenging for them. The economics of the situation, their margins are razor thin to begin with, right? So if you only have that kind of a margin, what's your margin for error? Zippo. Nothing. So it's challenging for everybody, right? And to my customers, I'm a vendor too, and I provide an invaluable service when it comes to talent. Look, if you need to hire a senior executive and you've got making the wrong hire, first of all, can cost you millions of dollars. You know that, being a recruiter, right? Similarly, having the wrong person in the wrong seat will cost you significant. It may cost you time, it may cost you money. Both of those things are synonymous with one another. It may cost you credibility. A significant portion of some things that we do are confidential replacements. How do you go, you're a CEO of a company, you've got a CFO, you know they're the wrong person in the seat, and she's not going to get better. You've talked to her, this isn't going to change. You've got to make a change. Derek, if you go do that search as a CEO, I guarantee you're going to get caught. And that CEO, she's going to leave. And I know you want to replace her, but you don't want to have a gaping hole in your finances. You've got to have a steward in there. So how do you do that? You do it somebody like me to be able to go out and go execute on that plan, to be able to drive in somebody that is going to be more aligned with your objectives and your wants and wishes and aspirations for whatever that role may be.
Yeah. So what do you want people to know who may hire you for, your services at CMA and maybe working with you in particular?
Oh, wow, that's a great question. Thank you. What do I want people to know? Well, I want people to know that I will, always tell you the truth. You may not like the truth, but I will always tell you, you need a partner that's going to be honest with you. I have seen many, many times people not be on, and not maliciously, but not be honest with their customers. If your customer is unrealistic and you don't set your customers' expectations, you're setting yourself up for failure. And now you've got a problem. So what I want prospects to know about me, that I will be a strategic partner with you, and I will always tell you the truth, whether you like it or you don't. And you don't have to take my counsel, and you don't have to take my advice. And that's not why, right, somebody's going to hire me specifically for that. They're going to hire me because we have a track record of placing in excess of 13,000 executives across the housing ecosystem. That's no small feat. Granted, that's been since 1984. But if you look across the ecosystem within housing, CMA, we have our fingerprints across the industry because we have the reach that we have. And so, I want prospects to think about me when they're in a high growth capacity. That's where we shine. We shine in building out and scaling organizations. Going back again to transaction versus relationship. Sure, a search is a transaction, but I don't want to just do a search. I want to have a true relationship, a strategic partnership whereby, and again, I don't expect to work on all of your searches, but your most critical hires that you need to place, I want to partner with you on those. And being a strategic partner is more than just doing a search. It's thinking strategically on behalf of my customer when I'm not working directly with you. I don't have a search engagement. I don't have a retainer. I'm a retained executive recruiter. I don't do anything for anybody unless they pay me, unless you're a strategic partner. What that means is I will think about you incessantly, and I will think about what is important to you, what you said you want to do, who you said you wanted to be, and how you said you wanted to get there. I'm going to remember those things. And then I'm going to come back to you and I'm going to provide you examples of individuals. Again, I'm a retained executive recruiter, but a true strategic partner will come to you and will say, Derek, I remember you told me you were looking to do X, Y, or Z, and you had a 6-month horizon on that. What if I could show you could short circuit that in 30 days? Would you be interested in having a conversation? Be a high likelihood that there's a yes in that. That's a real strategic partnership, because guess what? You didn't sign a retainer with me. You and I have a professional relationship, and you have done retainers with me in the past. But now I'm out here thinking strategically on your behalf. And I will tell you candidly, some of the best placements that I have made were jobs that didn't exist. It was a win for the customer and it was a win for the client. And both in those types of instances, many times, both my clients and the candidates that I work with, they're highly appreciative of the creativity. It's a creative process, right? I'm trying to be creative of how do I create commerce outside of a regular channel. That's a tremendous way of thinking about it, of marketing a candidate. Goes back again to relationships and transactions. If you have a transactional relationship, you'll never be in a situation to be able to do what I just articulated. The only way that you can do that is to have somebody trust you implicitly. If they trust you implicitly, you have to earn the trust. You have to earn the trust. It's earned, and it's credibility and it's trust. And then you're coming. I've listened to you. I didn't just hear you. I listened to you because I brought you exactly what you said you were thinking about doing in the future. And here I am. I'm showing up with the solution. Whether or not you pull the trigger on the solution is your prerogative. And sometimes my clients will talk to the candidate and they'll say, you know what? Thank you, Stephen. I really appreciate you brought this to me. And you know what? In my mind's eye, it really is 6 months, Maybe I could do it in 4 months, but this is a little premature. Or let's talk to them, let's underwrite them, let's get them exposed to other key stakeholders. We go through the rigmarole and it's like, okay, well, Jane Doe is the right person and we're going to hire Jane Doe to do this, but I don't need her to start for 30 days. Well, guess what? She's gainfully employed somewhere, so she's got to resign. She gives 2 weeks or whatnot, and then she goes, has a holiday somewhere for 2 weeks. She goes to Phuket in Thailand. She goes to the beach in Spain. She goes to sunny San Diego. She comes to Orlando, wherever you go out somewhere for a little bit, but there's a way to do that. And that's by having a strong relationship.
Yeah, yeah. When you mentioned all those places, you had me thinking for a minute, man, I might need another vacation.
Take one. Good for your mind, good for your soul.
So I want to dive into the specifics of your background because I know we discussed this on previous calls, but I think it's fascinating how you were able to place presidents and CEOs and all the chiefs across the nation and internationally. Can you dive into that?
Yeah, of course. I'd be happy to. So again, I'm a people person, right? I want to be out there front and center. And so I've got, there's 2 camps, people I know and people I don't know, right? If I don't know you, I want to get to know you. And if you're in my industry and you're a senior leader, I'm going to make an endeavor to reach out to you to build a rapport and build a relationship with you so that you know who I am. So when that day comes, when you say, you know what, the team that got me from A to E is not the team to get me from F to Z, you're going to come to me and I'm going to help you build that team to get you from F to Z. So it's a matter, I have relationships across the board, as you can imagine, because of as many people that I've placed and my firm has placed. We have tremendous relationships and they trust us implicitly. Some of these people, even I've had relationships with Derek for 20 plus years. I've never placed them. They have come to me to help them build their organizations. And some of these people too, they've told me, right? If you see something and it looks like blah, 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 I want to hear about it. And when I hear about that, I'll pick up the phone, I'll call them, I'll tell them that the opportunity that we discussed is here, and whether or not they want to take a peek at it is their prerogative. It's a matter of listening. It's important to listen and be conscientious around what you hear and also doing what you say, right? That's really, really important, is doing what you say that you'll do. A commitment, right? If I tell you I'm going to do something, the people, my customers, they know that if I tell them I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I mean what I say and I do what I say as well.
Yeah, you get it done for sure.
But like internationally, we helped create an industry in Saudi Arabia, of all places. They had no mortgage lending. There was no real estate. It literally was created from the ground up. The king owns everything under the sun. If you own something, Derek, is because the king bequeathed it to you. So they had to build title and deed, and they had to create real estate where you could own this. And in Saudi Arabia, mortgage lending is illegal. You can't charge interest on a loan. So we had to come in with a new product, a new entity. Today, mortgage lending exists in Saudi Arabia. We were responsible for building the first privately held mortgage bank and the first publicly traded mortgage bank in Saudi Arabia. And that was interesting, building an industry from scratch with no guardrails. And they were looking at other models. And we were exporting American expats to Saudi Arabia to be able to build the competencies to create this industry. Today, there's very few of those there's still a couple of them that are around there that actually They've embedded themselves in the community and they've been there now for 10, 15 plus years. But by and large, their job was to train people to take them out, and they repatriated to the United States. But that's really cool. Getting an opportunity to build an industry. It's almost like Lewis and Clark. You're going down the river. You don't know what's coming around the bend. It's exciting. It might be fantastic. And then again, it might be.
Yeah. Now in 2026.
Yeah, exactly.
So where do you, as a managing director, where do you want CMA to be in the next 6 to 12 months in terms of your book of business, your desk?
In my personal desk, look, I bill over $1 million a
The
quarter.
whole organization as a whole.
Yeah, I prefer to talk about the organization. I'd like to see us in the next 6 to 12 months. I'd love to see us do. I told you when you and I first met, I want to quintuple my business, right? That's not going to happen in 6 to 12 months. I want to see incremental growth. I want to see opportunities for growth. But with that, because my industry is very narrow, I told you we're at bottom. As this thing starts to lift and my industry moves, because it's going to move. All industries are cyclical, particularly housing. As it moves, that trajectory is going to go up. Those job orders will go up. Our activity will go up. That I'm interested in being calculated along with several colleagues in the firm and my partner. We're interested in growth, both personal, professional, and from our clients and from our perspective. We want to see everybody grow. We want to help contribute to growth. And that's our sweet spot, Derek, is growth.
Yeah.
Growth.
Hell yeah. I like to hear that. So you mentioned obviously the goal for the business is growth and scaling up, and for you and your partners and the industry as a whole, for your organization. So if you had a magic wand, Stephen, and you were to fix just one thing that's frustrating you or slowing you down, what would it be?
Removing me from the center of every transaction. Right? Again, it's this, I shake your hand or we're on the phone. And again, we're lucky because we've had it come in, but if it could come in at even greater scale, that would be tremendous. I love being out front and center. I love meeting new people, but I'm only one person. My colleagues are only one person. Right? We're individual in that sense. So if I had a magic wand, it would be to have the floodgates come open and have more opportunity come to CMA.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Stephen, thank you so much for joining us on the Growth Experts Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to check out Stephen's profile on his LinkedIn, you can just look him up by name, and you can check out his website. That's cmainc.com. Once again, that's cmainc.com, and I'll put it in the description below. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you so much, Derek. I really appreciate you. This has been fun, man. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate you letting me hop on here with you.
Oh, it's a pleasure, man. That's a great episode. I love it.
Thank you.
Until next time.
Until the next time, Derek. Take care, man. See ya.